Protection Music.
5, 6, 7 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 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 5, 6, 7.
What's up guys? Let's break down the basic steps for Kizomba. So the first step we're going to do is called a half tempo, or it's also called the basic one. So here we're going to go and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what we're doing here is really the true essence of Kizomba dancing, what I mean to say is it's a concept called Ginga. So we're going to first break that down and then we're going to sort of try this together. Okay, so I'm going to face a queen and we're just facing each other and we're doing just the Ginga. So what we're doing here, guys and girls together, all right, we're going to go, you bend your knees, then you straighten your knees with the hips out, and then you bring your hips forward. We have to make sure that we're not moving our chest, we're not involving our torso in this movement, right? It's just the hips. So we go, bend the knees, straighten the knees and forward. So the counts would be and 1 and 3 and 5 and 7. Now why is it that I'm not counting 2, 4, 6, 8? Because as I said, this is the half tempo. That means you're doing it on half the speed, right? So this step is called half tempo or basic one, all right? And we sometimes also refer to this as the Tarakshina step. So we're gonna go and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1 and 3 and 5 and 7. Now, if I were to step with this, so all this, what we just right now did was that we weren't stepping, we were just doing the Ginga, right? So I'm going to face the camera and the queen's going to face away. So we're going to first do it like this. Girls with your right foot on one, guys with the left foot on one. We're going to go and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if you can see, the movement has changed a little bit. So what is the change? Earlier I was doing this. Now I'm going to face this side as well. So we were doing just the knees, straighten the knees and back. So the movement was just straight. The Ginga was going just straight. Now the thing what we're doing here is when we start stepping, so say I'm going to step with the right foot for now so that we go together, and 1 and 3. So what's happening is the moment I shift my weight to my left foot to be able to step with my right foot, my hips drop to the left. And then I bend the knees, and now I'm doing the same concept from here, but now it feels like the hips are coming from the left to the center. Likewise, when I put all my weight onto my right foot and bend the knees, my hips move to the right and then they come to the center. So left and then right and left. This is the position of the hips, not the footwork, right? So this time I'm going to have a queen face you and while I still face the wall. So 5, 6, 7 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8. Now it's really important to sort of know when is it that we are bending. Okay, so it's, if I were to give it counts, this is what we're doing. So we're going and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8. So it's just after the even numbers. What that means is when I'm going and so this would be 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8. So the bending and the straightening of the knees is causing this undulation, and which is what's taking our hips out and back and forward, right? Let's try this again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's face each other and do it. 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, let's try it once again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's really important to not add, it's not this movement, it is just from the hips, right? So right now we're exaggerating it a little bit so that it's visible. You obviously want to sort of tone it down and make it a little more natural for you when you're doing the movement. Before we proceed, I would like to sort of talk about this position that we're on. So there are a few ways in which we hold our partners. So this is the closed position or the closed embrace. Okay. Now I would suggest while you're starting off, you'd want to sort of maintain some distance so that you have some space and you can figure your footwork out. Guys, you're offering your partner your left hand like so, and girls, you're giving your right hand. Girls, you're putting your left hand on his shoulder, and guys, you're putting your right hand. Depends on how far you're standing from her. You could either put it here, you could put it here. If you're close, then your hands can go all the way across like that, or it could be here as well, right? You need to find a place where you're comfortable, right? So say I'm going to be maintaining some distance right now, and this is my closed embrace. All right, this is the closed position. This side is the open side, and this side is the closed side. Okay. From here, we're going to move on to the basic one, which is 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8. And 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8. And 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8. Now I was talking about this step to be sometimes referred to as Tarakshina as well. In Tarakshina, what we do is we have the hands here, and guys, you have your hands on the hips, on the waist of your partner, or it could be here as well. Now, while we're doing the Ginga, so we're going and 1. So what my hands are doing is like I'm following this movement of what our hips are doing, right? So if you go 1, 2, 3, so I kind of bring her to me, release, bring her to me, release, bring her to me, release, bring her to me, release. Of course, when I'm doing it, it's a little toned down, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can do the same thing when I'm in this closed embrace as well. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8. And 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. This step surely does require a lot of practice, guys. It may look really simple when you just watch us do it like that, but guys, the problem that you will face in this step is when to bend. Okay, so when you're doing this and just before stepping, you're going 1. So just before you step, you bend, and then you press to straighten up on the counts, right? So and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, right? So you don't want to go 1, 2, and 3, 4. You don't want to bend while you're stepping, right? So you bend before and you start straightening up as you step. You may find the hip movement a little weird for you in the beginning, but it's important that you also are moving your hips because she's really following what you are doing, what your body is doing. Okay, so if you're not moving your hips, she would of course still move her hips, but then there are a lot of movements later on that you really want to sort of, for example, like if we have Tarakshina, another variation where we go 5, 6, 7 and 1, 2, 3. Stroke this way and 5, 6, 7 and 1, 2, 3. Now, in this step, my hips are doing exactly what my partner's hips are doing as well. Okay, so if I were to do this way, I'm going 5, 6, 7 and 1, 2, 3, 5. Of course, guys, it's not easy. Okay, when you're starting off, don't get so bogged down by the hip movement. Don't worry so much about the undulation as well. You need to make sure that you're doing this eventually and you're consciously trying to make the effort to sort of add this movement for the Ginga for you as well. And initially you could just start off doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Means what you're doing is you're just shifting weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For the guys, I can imagine it being a little tougher for you. Girls, of course, you could start off like this, just shifting weight, but then you need to practice the Ginga, which was this movement where we go knees bend, straighten, hips forward. Knees bend. While you straighten your hips go out. While you straighten your knees, your hips go out, right? So when you bend your knees, you straighten your knees, your hips go out, and then you bring your hips forward. So and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8. This exercise is really so important because this is sets the foundation for all the steps that you do in Kizomba. It's really helpful to use the Ginga to give it the real Kizomba feel. Of course, we could also use something that we use, which is referred to as contrary body motion. So we're doing that just with the hips when we walk, but then you need to get the Ginga. It's really important if you're dancing Kizomba to really practice the Ginga, this first drill that we showed you, and you're going to be doing a half tempo really well. So that was the basic one or the half tempo for you guys. I'll see you in the next video.